dirty. And we do have... Wow!
Oh no!
You gotta be kidding
Oh
me.
my goodness!
After 31 weeks of racing, we finally have our championship contenders, and we got 4 of them. Nathan Stapleton, Andrew Williams, Jeffrey Finguy, Jonathan Carrison. 4 guys for 1 cup, and it will be decided in 80 laps. This is the final race of the PSRLA race history, so let's give this a proper send-off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to run 32 of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series, the Tyson 400, race 10 of the playoff, the final race of the season. Hello everybody, my name is Alexander Vitale, and welcome back for the very last time here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And for the very last time in 2025, we are going to meet before the beginning of the new era in the Canva Cup Series, as I stated yesterday. But to give a quick refresher, the PSRLA will be folding at the end of the season with a brand new series called the Canva Cup Series. They'll be taking over. Operations will be rising from the ashes of the PSRLA, and it'll be run once again by Virgil. So yeah, once the checker flag here is dropped, I will officially retire. This is officially my current call for offline racing in general, as well as the current call for the PSRLA. So yeah, and we got one hell of a championship fight ahead of us. Now, as I stated, teased yesterday, the top 4 drivers, who are all the championship contenders, are only separated by 29 points. We got Stapleton, of course, leading the way, and then we got Jonathan Carrison, with just 1 win to his name at Daytona, with 21 points behind. Then we got Jeffrey Finguy, who thanks to the win at New Hampshire last week, he has cut the gap that he had from Stapleton by half, and now he sits third in 26 points. And then we got Andrew Williams with 29 points, one of the 4 drivers that will not be returning for the Canva Cup Series, and the driver that, for its purposes, has the least likely chances to win the championship. But considering how crazy playoff races have been this entire year, I would not be surprised if either Williams is gonna get out of Wilkes County with the cup. But there's also some other stories. For example, Alexander Rowe, he starts on pole position, and now he's got a chance to cap off in great style what has been, for intents and purposes, an amazing season. Okay, sure, the guy only did like half of the races compared to the races, but still, this has been something really, really impressive. And at this point, the question is, maybe Alexander Rowe should have been the pick for the 59 ride instead of Bernardo de Oliveira. But yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, de Oliveira did win a race, but Rowe has been a lot more impressive. But yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. So we will see if Appalachia is going to keep Rowe for the Canva Cup Series. But yeah, basically returning back to the championship. Stapleton's job is arguably the easiest one, because all he needs to do is just to keep ahead of all the playoff drivers. So if he's going to stay behind, he basically needs a to effectively lose the championship. He needs to trip up spectacularly. He needs something to back up to his car if to not win the 2025 season. Well, for everybody else, not only have to chase, but also have to hope that the other guys are going to trip down, especially as we stated, Andrew Williams. So, yeah, for this purposes, Stapleton has the easiest job of them all. Just stay ahead of the drivers and keep out of trouble. But again, that's way easier said than done, considering what happened at New Hampshire and the pits. So, yeah. But anyway, as since this is going to be a short track race, the rules will be that there won't be any there will be no double file restarts, and the lap cars will be starting side by side at the restarts. But of course, of course, overtimes will be a thing, and it will be 3 of them. So at least that does not change. But anyway, I think we talked enough. So it's time to finally bring the championship to an end. So guess what, folks? It's time for racing one last time.
Drivers, start your engines!
The command has been given. These guys will roll on any second now. And here they are. As for qualifying, Alexander Rowe will be starting on pole position. Alongside him will be Bryce Egan on his last race for the PSRLA. Then will be Jeffrey Finguy, Zachary Fitzwater, Ryan Little, Andrew Williams, Nathan Stapleton, Philip Torres, Richie Fogelman, and Avery Alpha running up the top 10. This is also the last race for Andrew Williams and Philip Torres, as well as Leonard Koshmar. So Alexander Rowe and Bryce Egan will lead this field to the Napa restart zone. 80 laps to the set champion, and green flag is in the air. We're away at North Wilkesboro. And looks like we are right under caution. In fact, we are, and that's for Gene Stamelio and Hunter Mendoza. Hunter Mendoza is going to almost enter the bit. There's more trouble. There's more trouble. But yeah, not even 1 lap in, and we are already under caution. Of course, also because this is new rules. This is the short track rules. Also means that these drivers will be racing to the caution. But yeah, looks like the trouble was started. In the meantime, we got a big not pile up, but traffic jam, which of course everybody is going to line up single file. I doubt we're going to put into the pits. Never mind, Little and both or Allen Motorsports car are going to the pits. I have no idea if this is going to be a problem for either of them, or they're going on a strategy, on a very good strategy call by Benny Watson, and nobody's following them. No, Andrew Anderson Jr. also follows them, and so does Carson Miller. And okay, no, never mind. No other people. Okay, I'm going to assume these are all the drivers that actually suffer damage. But in the meantime, as the field resets, let's check out the standings. Let's check out the replay to see what caused the first caution of the race. Caution number 1, and this was even before taking the green flag, as Ante Mendoza goes way too wide, almost a 4 wide here in North Wilkesboro. That was never going to work. In fact, Mendoza makes contact with Tanner Pardon. Pardon pretty much sends him into spin, helped by Bradley Ream, and right into the path of Gene Stamelio, who also goes into a half spin as Ream finishes the job. Charlie Davenport smashes into Davenport, and so does Bradley Ream, and because of that, we got our first caution of the race. Fortunately, none of the cars are damaged enough to cause DNFs, but still, that's not a thing that you want to do even before taking the green flag. Once again, in real time, the green flag is out. Of course, chaos ensues, and there we go. The chin effect happens, and we are right under caution before we finish lap 1. And with that, let's go back trackside. And we're back live here in North Wilkesboro for the Tyson 400, the final race of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series season. We're coming out of the caution, and the top 10 currently is Alexander Rowe, Jeffrey Finguy, Bryce Egan, Zachary Fitzwater, Philip Torres, Reggie Fogelman, Avery Alford, Andrew Williams, Brandon Beal, and Gary Moda running up the top 10. And Stapleton currently is all the way down in 24th. As the pace car pulls into the pits, no lapped cars as they all go single file towards the green flag. Alexander Rowe leading this field back to green, and back in the green we go on lap number 7. As Philip Torres already extremely aggressive on the inside of Zachary Fitzwater. In the meantime, there is Charlie Davenport re-entering the track as Torres takes away 4th place from Zachary Fitzwater. In the meantime, there's 3 wide between Andrew Williams, Avery Alford, and Richard Fogelman has to be 2 wide. And it looks like Williams is going to win this as Davenport almost hits the barriers as Alexander Rowe is pulling away. So right now Alexander Rowe is pulling away from Jeffrey Finguy. Behind him is Bryce Egan. Then we got as Andrew Williams finally clears Avery Alford. And now Alford has got to watch himself from Brendan Beal. Of course, Avery Alford, remember, he's fighting for the Best of the Rest Championship, which is still firm in his hands because Fitzwater is not that far away. In the meantime, there's Jonathan Carrison now overtaking Justin Perez. And Carrison is now in the top 10 as I think Brendan Beal hit the wall. There's damage to this car. But in the meantime, let's check out where Stapleton is right now. There he is. Stapleton is down in 26th. So of course not a good result for the championship leader. But of course the race is still long as Alexander Rowe looks to right now has this race pretty much on his hands. But of course, caution notwithstanding. In the meantime, Jeffrey Finguy is in 2nd. There's Andrew Williams. And for the purposes of all these guys, Finguy should be the one with the advantage because it's that Fitzwater is Fitzwater, sure. Williams is too far away. There's also Jonathan Carrison lost the position to Justin Perez. It looks like he's going to lose the second one to his teammate in Tom Sloan. Sloan on the inside of 3 and 4, and is he going to lose this battle? He's still side by side with Sloan. As there's Stapleton dealing with this pack of cars, which includes his teammate Ryan Little, then Skylar Taylor, and other guys. Of course, not exactly an easy job for, as now Carrison loses another place to Reggie Fogelman. So Carrison's dropping like a rock as Alexander Rowe is about to catch up to his other lap cars after just 15 laps, and the first one is Junior D'Amelio with extensive damage to his car, and I believe no DNFs. Actually, no, we got 2 lap. Actually, we 2 have lapped cars and 3 lap cars in Davenport, Crown, and South Stride. So Crown season looks to be pretty much already over, as Alexander Rowe leads yet another lap. He has led every single lap up until this point. And now Carrison looks to have stopped bleeding, at least right now, and now he's trying to potentially get some positions back, as Lars Karshmar is dealing with it in his final race, as Brendan Beal hits the wall once again. It's in the background as Karshmar is dealing with Bruno Di Giacomo, while Anderson goes through Brendan Beal. Brendan Beal is not a lapped car. Then there's another driver in Guillermo Vidal, also with extensive damage, as Anderson goes through Beal. And now Perez is glued to the rear of Gutierrez's car. For what would be not 8th place. But in the meantime, Alexander Rowe has caught up to the lap car immediately, and the first one is going to be Hunter Mendoza. And Rowe looks to clear him right away. No issues there. Now next is Talladega winner Junior D'Amelio, as Mendoza hits the wall once again. That should allow this group to catch up as Rowe goes past D'Amelio. But in the meantime, let's check out where is Stapleton. And Stapleton is down the field. He's blocked by his teammate Ryan Little all the way down in 27th. And now looks like he's going to claim one more spot in 26th. And he does, but still a very, very long road to climb for Stapleton. But in the meantime, back up front, there's Tom Sloan dealing with Justin Perez as well as his teammate in Gutierrez. And Perez, remember Perez had a streak of 3 consecutive pole positions. And unfortunately no wins to his name. As Alexander Rowe is putting more and more cars, more and more, shall we say, human shields between himself and Jeffrey Finguy, who right now will have to hope that both Williams and Carrison hit problems. Stapleton also already hit problems, so it's not gonna be matter. The big problem is, of course, this man and this other man who is now wanting to climb back into the top 10. He has dealt with Fogelman. Now he's got to watch himself from Perez. Perez at the same time will want to, clear Gutierrez away because Gutierrez could potentially. Actually, no, he's got 2 teammates of Carrison, so not exactly. Of course, it's very likely that both Sloan and Gutierrez will try everything to slow down Carrison to gain more points on the championship battle, as Finguy is in trouble with Genius D'Amelio, as him, Egan, and potentially Fitzwater go past Davenport, and because of that, Bryce Egan was able to overtake Finguy, and so is Fitzwater, as Finguy is still struggling to get past D'Amelio, and now he finally gets past after losing 2 positions. He really went to his teammate. But in the meantime, Alexander Rowe is pretty much absolutely dominating this race. Lap number 27 is in the books. Now he's got to watch. Now he's going to lap Eric Monaco. As now, of course, and looks like Finguy is going to lose another place. He almost hits the wall from Philip Torres. And there's championship hopeful Andrew Williams right behind them after D'Amelio, and he goes through. But in the meantime, where is Stapleton? Stapleton is stuck in 26th place behind Duncan Ward. So right now, this championship could very well slipping away from his hands, as these guys lap the cars of Samaroskan and William Ayers. One of the many trouble teams that have hit this season alongside Faro King Racing and Williams and Racing before they got new ownership. Although, if we really have to be pedantic, we will have to mention probably the biggest problem team was PS Motorsport with 3 different owners this entire year. First was Purab Shirastava, then it was Orby Gardner, and now it's Charlie Davenport for the final 2 races. But in the meantime, speaking of Fireball King Racing, he's giving a lot of headaches now to Bryce Egan, and now it looks like Fitzwater is going to take advantage of that as Finguy barges his way through Torres, and now looks like he wants to overtake Egan as well, still being blocked by Tanner Parton. And we got a caution, oh boy. That's definitely going to change the race, as caution is out. They're going to race to the line. And did they race? I think they did, yeah. And actually, looks like Finguy. And of course, Alexander Rowe enters the pits. And so does Fitzwater and everybody else. Pretty much all the drivers that didn't pit the first time out. Of course, we focus on Alexander Rowe, and that could give some positions back to Nathan Stapleton. Actually, no, he's gonna pit. Stapleton is pitting alongside his teammate in Ryan Little, and yeah, pretty much all these cars are the lapped cars, not championship contenders, of course, except Royal Crown Jr. Of course, 4 tires and fuel for all of them, but I would assume these guys are going to pull into the pits as well. And Rowe wins this battle off of pit road. Second looks to be and Finguy has had some problems, but Fitzwater leaves the pits in second. That is Braysigan, Philip Torres, and Jeffrey Finguy. There's Andrew Williams, one of the few cars I believe that is still without damage. But yeah, as the field resettles after the pit stops, let's check out the replay to see what caused the second caution of the race. Caution number 2, and it involves Tanner Pardon once again, as Bryce Egan tries to lap Pardon. Of course, the outside line is occupied by Jeffrey Finguy, but Egan goes a little bit too aggressive and sends Pardon into the path of Finguy, causing both cars to spin. Of course, Egan also pushes Finguy into the spin as Pardon and Per and Torres make contact. Now Pardon and Finguy are spinning, but no serious damage to either of those cars. But still, that could be a big slap. That's a big slap in the face for Finguy's championship hopes. Watching it in real time, Egan way too aggressive in trying to overtake Pardon. He sends him right on the path of Finguy. Of course, Egan finishes the job. Somehow, nobody else makes contact with Finguy, but Torres does smash into Pardon. So, yeah, I am actually surprised nobody has crashed into Finguy. Alpha came really close, but at the end of the day, for Finguy, it was only a set of ruined tires and a big scare. And with that, see you trackside. And we're back live here for round 32 of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series. As Tyson 400 are coming out of the second caution of the race. And the top 10 currently is Alexander Rowe, Jeffrey Finguy, Bryce Egan, Philip Torres, Jeffrey Finguy, Avery Alford, Andrew Williams, Tom Sloan, Jonathan Carrison, Alana Koshmar. Of course, lapped cars being Bradley Ream, Blaine Keys, Eric Monaco, Joshua Neely, Simon Oskin, Charlie Davenport, and a lot of cars, of course, all lapped by Alexander Rowe, just to show you how dominant Rowe has been this race, as they take the green flag once again for the third time this race. So it's going to be a bit of chaos thanks to lapped cars, and Rowe immediately flies away from Zachary Fitzwater and other lapped cars, and looks like Torres saved it. Torres has saved it from what could have been another caution, not even halfway through the race. You saw there it was being spun out, but fortunately nothing happened as Movedel and this is gonna be a big mess. It's gonna be a 5 wide. It's not gonna work. But they somehow gonna make it work, and there goes Tanner Pardon, save it, and they're not gonna save it, and Stapleton get involved. Stapleton get involved in this mess, and oh boy. Stapleton get involved in this mess, and watch out for Mendoza. Stapleton get involved in this mess. And now things look to be getting even worse for Nathan Stapleton as they race to the line. And now things look to be even worse for Nathan Stapleton as they hit the halfway point of the race. Of course, now a lot of these drivers are going to pit because of damage, but yeah, that was something. These guys were going so gung-ho, it was never going to work. But yeah, now we'll have to check the updated tickers. Once everybody enters the pits, as Justin Perez entering the pits, is somebody else going to Brendan Beal? Of course, Brendan Beal took a big hit from I think it was his teammate Luke Evans. So let's see if more hit on the wall for Luke Evans. Of course, both cars can continue on, but yeah, and that effectively means Stapleton's championship situation has gotten even worse. Now the car is damaged and is now in 23rd. And as we go back to the leaders, let's check out the replay to see what caused the third caution of the race. Yeah, judging by this image, you already know that this was never going to work. Pardon also gets involved into this, but Movadell, Ginny Stamelio, Nathan Stapleton, Zachary Troy Williams Jr. and Zane Davidson all get involved into this mess, and so are Brandon Beal and Luke Evans. Luke Evans actually crashes into Beal hard enough to actually send him flying. Jack Haas got involved, Ryan Little got involved, Mendoza got involved, Taylor got involved, Neckel got involved. So we have a genuine, proper pile-up here at the end, here in turn 3. And of course, all of these guys are going to have enough damage to require repair the pits, but still, how did that not go even worse than that? Watching it in real time, there's a 4-wide attempt. Of course, that was never going to work, and there we go. And also, pretty much, Beal gets sent flying like a Beyblade. But yeah, that was possibly one of the most impressive crashes they've had this entire year, and that's saying something. But yeah, with that, let's go back trackside. And we're back live here at North Wilkesboro for the Tyson 400, the final race of the 2035 PSRLA Cup Series season. We're coming out of the caution, and top 10 is Alexander Rowe, Zachary Fitzwater, Bryce Egan, Philip Torres, Avery Alford, Jeffrey Finguy. Never mind, Torres is going to the pits, so that should upgrade Fitzwater back. You'll upgrade Fitzwater to the lead. Of course, I have no idea what's going on with Alexander Rowe. Probably an issue on that 59 car, as the field goes back to green. And they're going back to green now. There we go. Back in the green we go. And Fitzwater takes an amazing jump off the line from Bryce Egan. As a bit of contact between Blaine Keys and Bradley Ream. As Fitzwater is leaving. Of course, everybody dealing with the mess of restarting on a short track with a lot of lapped cars. As Bryce Egan tries to clear Bradley Ream, and he does. And now it's a Vision Motorsports 3 and 2 and 3, with Fitzwater leading the race as Finguy looks to be clearing Blaine Keys and Joshua Neely, and so potentially even Bradley Ream, as Fitzwater almost raced Finguy almost makes it 3 wide. Everything much better at dealing with the situation with the lap cars than a second restart. But in the meantime, Williams giving a lot of trouble to Andrew Williams, but Finguy cannot find a way to go through, as the outside is now the preferred line is still blocked, and now looks like Neely is going to cause trouble to Finguy. And of course that's something that Williams will love to have. In fact, he clears Neely, and now Finguy clears Neely as we come to 31 laps to go. Fitzwater now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say anything because I could jinx it. As Luke Evans gets into the pits. Of course, guess what? The direct rival for the Best of Race Championship is right behind them. And now, both Finguy and Carrison, and Williams have cleared the car of Neely. And now, top 5 are all cars from the lead lap. There is Luke Evans, rejoining the pits at an awkward moment because he rejoins right on the path of Fitzwater, and of course that should allow Alford to close the gap. But in the meantime, right now, of course, of these two drivers, the advantage one is Finguy because he is in third, while Williams is in fourth. In the meantime, let's check out the situation with Stapleton. He's down to 22nd as Evans and Ream is in the pits. As Evans once again in the pits. At this point, it's pretty clear that the car is stuck. That his team cannot fix the car. But in the meantime, Fitzwater is catching up to Skylar Taylor. And as Brandon Ream is leaving the pits. Fitzwater is now dealing with Skylar Taylor. Let's see if Taylor is going to give him any kind of trouble, and looks like she is. And that should allow Alford through. Depends on how much slow Fitzwater is going to be stuck behind Skylar Taylor. And unfortunately, Alford cannot find a way to go through. In fact, he goes super wide off of 1 and 2, potentially allowing Bryson to catch up some time. But Fitzwater still cannot clear Skylar Taylor. Still cannot find a way through. And to reason fair, way through is not. Jeff Finguy is not finding it for Andrew Williams, to the point that Lara Kashmar and even Philip Torres might catch up to them. But in the meantime, Skylar Taylor is turning basically into the Timo Glock. We mentioned the classical Formula 1 season, and we mentioned the China 2007, so I might as well mention. Actually, no, it was Petrov in 2010. Sorry, never mind. As Taylor is in the pits, not 2008. It was Vitaly Petrov in 2010 at Abu Dhabi when it was blocked by when it basically became the Russian Ministry of Defense against Alonso in that race, if you remember that one. But in the meantime, Kashmar looks to be going through Jeffrey Finguy as they're side by side into the main straight. 21 laps to go at the line. Alford is glued to the rear. We got a caution once again. For what reason? And it's Blink Keys spinning out, and looks to be the only car with issues. So we're going to caution once again with 21 laps to go. And I'm not going to assume anyone is going to pit, except of course for the damaged cars. But still, we will check. We will know in a few moments. As you see there, Finguy has lost positions to Kashmar. While Stapleton is now in 20th. As now only 24 cars on the lead lap, with Brandon Beal out of the race. And of course Luke Evans and Luke Evans and Bradley Ream 5 laps down, so they're pretty much also DNFing. And with that, let's check out the replay to see what caused the caution. Back on the caution once again, and turn 2 is quickly becoming calamity corner because we're looking at Blaine Keys. As Troy Williams Jr. gets a little bit too close into Blaine Keys and sends him into a spin at the exit of turn 2, right into the backstretch. He is on the wrong side of the track where everybody's going, but amazingly enough, everybody managed to avoid him and managed to avoid crashing into each other as well. So I'd say that's actually some really good impressive driving from the PSRLA drivers. Let's check it in real time as Blink Keys gets spun out by Troy Williams Jr. and everybody manages to avoid. So yeah, that's been a much more tamer crash, much more tamer caution than the ones that we had before. So yeah, for Blinkies is going to be just a bit scare and a bunch of ruined tires. And with that, let's go back trackside. And we're back live here at North Wilkesboro Speedway for race 32 of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series season. We're coming out of the caution once again, and the top 10 is Zachary Fitzwater, Avery Alford, Bryce Egan, Andrew Williams, Lara Koshmar, Jeffrey Finguy, Philip Torres, Ali Anderson Jr., Bruno Di Giacomo, and Ag Gutierrez. 17 laps left in the 2025 season. And for this purposes, this championship is still all to be decided, as Fitzwater leads the field back on the green. And Fitzwater this time does not have a incredible launch like he did at the previous restart. And of course, all these guys bogged down by the lapped cars, including Alexander Rowe, who unfortunately will not have finished the season in the way in his dream season. Where he will not have a incredible end to his season. Would have been a very impressive season. But in the meantime, Fitzwater is pulling a big gap on, and we got out of caution once again, and for reason, ooh. Oh boy. Stapleton is in the pits. What happened? Stapleton is in the pits. And this could potentially flip the championship wide open. As the crash also involved his teammate, but yeah, this is even worse news for Nathan Stapleton. And looks like he's down 24th. Fortunately, he cannot go down even lower because all the cars after 24th are after 25th are after 24th are lap down. But still, now Loudon last week looks to be more and more like his China 2007 moment. We got 13 laps here in the season, and oh boy. We're gonna have a finish for the ages, folks. Of course, nobody in the pits, and no, he's in 43rd, a lap down. So Stapleton could potentially lose the championship at the final race. So drama here in North Wilkesboro, and yeah, at this point. All these guys are going to be absolutely clenching their butts. I'm sorry for my French, but still, this is... And Tom Sloan looks to have blown up. Yep, he blown up an engine. But, yeah. Let's check out the replay to see what caused the caution. Guess what? It's turn 2 again. As we look at Zane Davidson, this is a little bit before the event's happening, but look at Jonathan Carrison. He sends Mendoza, he bumps Mendoza into a spin and right into the path of Zane Davidson. Zane Davidson spins out, as does Hunter Mendoza. Momadel crashes into Mendoza hard enough to actually send him flying a little bit. And of course, in the melee are involved D'Amelio and Ryan Little, with more damage to the car they already had before. Of course, Fogelman is also stuck in the melee, but yeah, I have no idea what's going on here at turn 2, why it has been the cause of so many accidents, but yeah, and in the meantime, yeah, D'Amelio actually took a very, very long time to get free of the car of Zane Davidson, and now it actually get free, but yeah, that was a bit of a weird moment. Watching it in real time. There's Carrison putting Mendoza away. The contact with Carrison. The contact with Momadel and Mendoza. Carrison. I mean, didn't mean contact with Carrison. I mean Davidson. And of course, the moment in which D'Amelio and Davidson try to wrestle themselves out of that position. But yeah. And with that, let's go back trackside. And we're back live here in North Wilkesboro for the Tyson 400 that, oh boy, 10 laps to go. We're going to restart at 9. The top 10 currently is Zachary Fitzwater, Avery Alford. For this point, Alford should have the Best of Race Championship locked up. Then is Bryce Egan. Then is Laura Koshmar, Jeffrey Finguy, Hallie Anderson Jr., Andrew Williams, Philip Torres, Anchor Gutierrez, and Bruno Di Giacomo running up the top 10. This is going to be tense, folks. Only 9 laps at the line left to decide a championship, and Stapleton the championship looks to be over as green flag is in the air once again, and this time Alford looks to, and this time Stapleton. Alford was not caught by surprise by the start of Fitzwater. He's glued to his rear right at the gate, as now Finguy has to overtake as many cars as he possibly can. Of course, one of them is not Burrow Crown Jr. As Luke Evans pretty much stuck in a nightmare of a race. As we're still green, no problems whatsoever. Fitzwater is now 7 laps closer to what would be a shock win, and honestly, I will deserve one after all the pain he had to endure, especially Watkins Glen, where it looked like he had it in the back, and then the engine blew up as we go 4 wide, and there we go. Finguy takes care of 2 cars in one go, thanks to Skylar Taylor. And now Andrew Williams is stuck with Allenson Jr. and Bryce Egan looks to be losing a spot to Ali Anderson Jr. He already lost it to Koshmar as we got to 5 laps to go. Of course, the battle is also for the lead, but also the battle is for the championship. As Fitzwater will to make his car basically the entire wide as a track to avoid what has been a super fast Avery Alford. If he's not going to win the Best of Race Championship, might as well to claim the win of the final race. But in the meantime, now Finguy has cleared 2 cars in one go, and now he's got Carlos Alshore to deal with, and it looks like he's going to deal with it relatively easily. There we go. 3 laps to go left on North Wilkesboro. There's Luke Evans in the pits, and this time no awkward positioning. Actually, awkward positioning, but for Avery Alford. That's gonna cause Avery Alford some trouble as Fitzwater goes across the line. 2 laps to go, and never mind, we're going to overtime. We are going to overtime for what reason? And looks like Samadoskin. It's not over yet, folks. We are going to overtime. There was only 2 laps left, but now we are going to overtime for the first time. So this race is not done yet. And that effectively is actually terrible news for Finguy, because now it puts him directly into the direct path of Koshmar and Anderson, but especially Koshmar. So yeah, this is going to be this season finale is going to be something else. And as Evans once again gets into the pits at this pretty much a complete nightmare of a race he has had. But yeah. And with that, let's check out the replay to see what caused the caution. The caution that caused our first overtime attempt, we're looking at Samadoskin, who is now being dumped by Roger Fogelman into the wall again at turn 2. He makes contact with the wall, and there's Duncan Ward, who makes contact, and heavy contact, who actually send the car on the other way around. Both Davenport and Mendoza managed to avoid them. But yeah, this crash is the reason why we're going for a first of 3 overtime attempts. Watch it in real time, sorry. And there goes the contact into the wall. the contact with Duncan Ward, and considering this is the first overtime attempt, everyone mentioning Formula 1 this entire night, this could potentially be his Nicolas Latifi moment at Abu Dhabi 2021 moment. And with that, let's go back trackside. And we're back live here on North Wilkesboro for the Tyson 400 for our first overtime attempt. And the top 10 currently is Zachary Fitzwater, Avery Alford, Jeffrey Finguy, Leonard Koshmar, Ellison Jr., Andrew Williams, Bryce Egan, Brody Giacomo, Ann Gutierrez, and Philip Torres. 2-lap shootout, and Jonathan Carrison is in 12th. So I don't want to say this, but right now Carrison should be the champion. Stapleton right now is in 28th, but of course we will see as green flag is in the air once again. Only 2 laps left. 2 laps left for Zachary Fitzwater to claim his victory, and he's got a good start. And now just 2 corners, and there you go. They're gonna cross the line. White flag, 1 lap to go. If something happens, that happens. 1 lap to go for Zachary Fitzwater. And Alexander is gonna put himself between Alford and Fitzwater. He kind of wanted Watkins Glen. His engine gave in. His engine gave up at the worst possible moment, and now he's gonna take his revenge. Zachary Fitzwater is finally a winner in 2025 in an official race. Avery Alford finishing second, Jeffrey Finguy in third, then is Andrew Williams in 5th, and now Jonathan Carrison finishes in 12th, and Nathan Stapleton finishes in 27th. So, of course, we'll have to check the standings to see what happened, but Zachary Fitzwater, finally, an official win. We don't count the win of the All-Star race, but Fitzwater, finally a winner in the PS. Finally a winner here in 2025. It took the last race, but he finally got it. Oh boy! Unfortunately, that's not enough to win the Best of Race Championship. That one should be clearly on Avery Alford. But still, and so Zachary Fitzwater wins the Tyson 400. Second will be Avery Alford. Third is Jeffrey Finguy. Then it's Leonard Koshmar, Andrew Williams, Bryce Egan, Al Anderson Jr., Brody Giacomo, Ann Gutierrez, and Philip Torres. And of course the rest of the field. 21 cars on the lead lap. Luke Evans, Thompson, Ryan Little, and Brendan Beal retired. Redley 5 laps down. Gene Stamelio 3 laps down. Now you got Crown, Southstray, Taylor, and Davenport 2 laps down, and of course from Alexander Rowe up until Hunter Mendoza, all lap down. Oh my god. Oh dear god. Now, I don't want to extend the wait any longer, but I have to talk about the race, and yeah, that that was dramatic. That was a very, very dramatic race. And honestly, I'm surprised we only got 1 overtime attempt. I expected we were going to get even more, or possibly just go all 3 of them like we did with Talladega. But fortunately, everybody behaved enough to avoid that situation. But yeah, that was a very, very tense race. And Zachary Fitzwater, at the final race of the PSRLA, finally claims a win in 2025. Of course, we don't count the All-Star race. He has technically won before in the All-Star race, but we don't count that one. So, yeah, Zachary Fitzwater, again, he couldn't win the war. He couldn't win the war. He won the battle, but unfortunately, Avery Alford has won the war. At least the secondary war, because of course the main war is the playoff standings. But still, I'm pretty sure Fitzwater can finally be happy that he can finally got this monkey off his shoulder at the final race, no less. So, yeah, Congratulations on Zachary Fitzwater. And now, the moment everybody was waiting for, who is the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series champion? And we're back in North Wilkesboro for the Tyson 400 that has just finished. And, ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series champion is Nathan Stapleton by only 2 points from Jeffrey Finguy. Yeah, oh dear God. Oh my God, only 2 points. Yeah, Stapleton avoided what could have been a humongous disaster by the skin of his teeth. Unfortunately, Jeffrey Finguy has to settle for the silver trophy, and unfortunately that also means that he cannot, for its purposes, avenge his 2024 crown. That will always have, unfortunately for him, the big asterisk. And of course, we will know that he will try for 2026 if he wants to return for 2024 for next year. But I have the sneaky suspicion that maybe Durrani is not going to return in the PSRLA Cup Series, in the Canva Cup Series. But of course, he has announced no plans. But we will see about that. And Jonathan Carrison has to settle for the bronze trophy with 6 points behind. And Andrew Williams, well, he came close, but not close enough. Only 7 points is the gap between himself and Stapleton. And then we got, of course, the rest of the playoff drivers. Graham Overdell finishing 6th, the most consistent driver of all, and most consistent driver of all of them. Unfortunately, will have to settle for 6th place. Then it's Lana Koshwar on his final. He finishes in 7th in his first and now, as we said, only season in the PSRLA. Bryce Egan will finish in 8th. Philip Torres climbs up to 9th to a final 9th place finish. Rokan Jr. drops to 10th. Then it's Richard Fogelman and Troy Williams Jr. rounds up the 12 playoff drivers. And as we teased, unfortunately, Avery Alford, at least unfortunately for Durrani, Avery Alford is the best of rest champion, 21 points ahead of Zachary Fitzwater, who, as I stated, he has lost the battle, he has lost the war, but he finally got himself a win. After he really should have taken a win earlier, Watkins Glen, but as we know, the engine gave up. Of course, we got the rest of the field. Tom Sloan, Ali Anderson Jr., 1 win for Anderson Jr. in a rookie year. Then we got Ryan Little, Justin Perez, again, 3 pole positions in a row. No wins, but still a very impressive 18th place finish, considering that he came, well, not early in the season, but the season already finished. And Gutierrez in 19th. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to clinch a wildcard spot, but he would have been deserved. Brandon Beal, his season was not exactly the best one. He managed to recover at the latest. Then Brody Giacomo is now in 24th, now finishing 21st. That's after it's been pretty much a disappointing season. Basically after Daytona, Brody Giacomo was absolutely nowhere. Only now he finally actually managed to get some sort of thing as a result, but it was mostly because of other drivers' errors. Blinkies, 22nd place, absolute disappointment for Blinkies, as we stated. Then we got Luke Evans in 23rd, Kyle Salstry, Anthony Nicol, Joshua Neely, William Ayers finishes in 28th. Then we got Duncan Ward in 28th, Skylar Taylor, Carson Miller, Alexander Rowe, Danny Johnson, who hasn't finished one of the many drivers that have been replaced this season. Alexander Rowe actually finished in 41st, which is still a very impressive result considering that he started at the late part of the season, but still 2 wins, 5 top 5s, 7 top 10s, 4 poles. That's still a very, very impressive resume for Alexander Rowe. He should be really proud of that one, and let's see if he's going to make it to 2026, assuming he wants to return for 2026. The Hurt Sprint Series champion. Yeah, there's a reason why he won that thing. Then we got Brad Oliveira, only 17 races, replaced by Alexander Rowe. Then we got Eric Monaco, Genius D'Amelio, who actually manages to avenge what has been a pretty mediocre season with that win at Talladega. Charlie Davenport, Aubrey Gardner, who didn't finish the season, Bradley Ream, Tanner Parton, Scap Silver, who climbs up to the 40th with only, of course, only 2 full-time drivers races to his name. Simon Oskin, Jack Haas, Ante Mendoza, and of course we got the drive, and of course we got Nia Marinacci, who only did only 5 races. William Donuts, who at this point is now the true winner of the Part-Timers Cup. Emily York Watson only did 1 race, could have classified, but unfortunately failed to qualify for this one. And Santi Messi rounds up the 47-car field with negative 18 points due to the penalty. Due to the penalty he got all the way back at Phoenix. And now we can finally say mission accomplished. All 32 races are done. We finished the season. We promised it at Daytona that we were going to finish the season. I promised that when we announced that the PSRLA was going to die, and we delivered. Promise made, promise delivered. And that almost makes it up for all the difficulties that I had to encounter while running the 2025 season, with the constant delays, the technical problems, and of course all the drama that surrounded things like mainly the ratings. And of course I have no idea if Virgil is going to do the ratings thing again for the Canva Cup series. I have a suggestion, but I won't say it in public, of course. But still, despite all of that, we managed to finish the season, and I couldn't be any more happy for that. Because, yeah, we didn't finish in 2024, and we promised we were going to finish 2025, and we did finish it. So, yeah, we can say mission accomplished. But, yeah, I don't want to extend this ending part any longer. So, I guess so. Of course, there are a lot of thanks that are due. First and foremost, I want to thank Jill for giving me the opportunity to all the way back in 2024 to run the races for the PSRLA, first with the Grand National Series, and now for giving me the reins for the Cup Series. Still a big thank you, even though the season could have gone way better. And yeah, by the way, if I am not going to commentate, I'm not going to commentate races. If you're going to ask me, find somebody else, because I want nothing with offline leagues anymore, offline league racing anymore after this. But yeah, still, all jokes aside, I want to thank Virgil for that, and of course, I want to thank every single driver and team owner that has stuck with this thing, despite how bad it got. Basically, ever since the playoffs started, for sticking with this, for the series from start to finish. Of course, everybody who still did the ratings every single week, and yeah, I want to thank. Yeah, there's actually nobody else that I want to thank, really. So, and of course, I guess I should also thank AG for hosting the races over on his channel as well, because we got a personalized channel on over the AG's channel, over AG's Discord server, which of course is going to change to the Canva Cup series, but that's besides the point. So, I guess thanks to him too. But yeah, this is the end of the PSRLA. This is the end of the season. Nathan Stapleton comes home with the championship, and to me, there's nothing else to say other than this has been a special presentation of the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series for the 47 Network. I'm Alexander Vitale, and now that the season is over, I can say, and see you, and that's that. See you in the Canva Cup Series. Although in that case, I'll definitely be just a team owner, not a commentator. So long, everybody, from North Wilkesboro. Congratulations, Zachary Fitzwater for winning the race, and for Nathan Stapleton for being the 2025 PSRLA Cup Series champion. So long, everybody.